Hola, hola, buenas tardes. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. My name is Chelsea Glass. I am the founder of Heart of Travel. We are a boutique tour operator run entirely by some really amazing, incredible women. And we organize small group tours in different parts of Latin America. And our heart is really showing these countries, sharing them with you, letting you interact with people and hearing their different stories and supporting small business development in Latin America through travel. So I'm really excited because 2023 has been all about up leveling and really taking our business to the next level. After such a hard time in 2020 and 2021 coming out of the pandemic as a new business, we are now in year 7. We are feeling stronger than ever, and there's so much on the horizon for us. So I'm really focusing on how can we improve our travelers' experiences and how can we also improve the employee experience at Heart of Travel and make everybody's lives easier and maximize the time that we have on trips for enjoyment, for joy, for learning, and for impact. So I'm really excited because we have started to use a platform called Travefy to build out our itineraries. And what is really cool is, apart from being aesthetically pleasing itineraries, there's a lot of different functionalities that have just elevated the experience for our travelers. So I know I'm going to nerd out right now, but for anybody who's interested in the behind the scenes of this new tool that we're using at Heart of Travel, hang out and watch this video with me. And while we look at this new feature that we're offering, we're going to be seeing the Peru itinerary. So we have a trip coming up to Peru at the end of May, and we actually still have some spots left. So if you are interested in going on this trip, especially after seeing this incredible itinerary that Amy has prepared, if you're interested, reach out. We are planning on running a flash sale next weekend, but if you see this now and you know you want to sign up or you're interested in more information, reach out to me right away and we could potentially hop on a call and talk about some really cool discount opportunities and get that spot saved for you as soon as possible. Okay, so what's really cool about Travefy, a couple things. When we send the itinerary to clients, they are able to see it on their browser in this format. They can also print it out as a PDF. And when you go to print it out as a PDF, if you want to condense the information so it's not a million pages, you have the option to do that. So you can say remove the photos or remove certain information and make a more condensed version. And then what's super cool is that you can actually see this in an app. So there's a free mobile app, and we provide all of our clients with a link where they can just download that app onto their phone or tablet, and then they can also view the itinerary on the go on their phone in an app. And what's super cool is that before we would have a final itinerary, we would send it to graphics, they would make it all beautiful, and we'd give it to the client. But if I found a typo, or if our departure time moved by 30 minutes, or if there was some type of change, I'd have to go in, edit it, or ask the graphic design team to change something, and then we have to email it out to everybody, and it was just really inefficient. And what's cool about this is a living, breathing document. So I can go in and edit, and the next time a traveler goes to review the itinerary, any change will automatically update on their version as well. And what's really cool about that is we get to put in the traveler's flight information. So I'm going to show you that in just a moment. I'm going to show you that, and then I'll go back up to show you these other features. So what's really cool is we put in the airline and the flight number, and Travefy automatically will populate this information. Now, on the day of travel, if there are delays, if it arrives early, this will let us know. And Travefy will even send an email or a text notification depending on what setting you choose. So I know for a lot of airlines, they already offer this type of service, but for us to have access to the live updates for our travelers' flights is so awesome. And there are some airlines, especially that fly in Latin America, that don't have quite as sophisticated of notification systems where you're getting those constant text updates or email updates. So this is really great. That way you have all of your travel information in one place. And so we can track everyone's flights. We know when they're coming in, etc. Okay, so looking back here, we usually include what we call like a day 0 or a pre-trip day or a transit day. A lot of times we do have people who fly in a night before the official start date of a trip. And so our guides and tour leaders are pretty much starting on day 0, ready to receive people in country. So here we just talk a little bit about the trip and how this itinerary works. And then here we have a downloadable PDF welcome packet. And so it's just right inside that Travefy. So if you're in your Travefy or you're in the app and you want to try and find this information, instead of going through your emails and looking for it, you just have access to this welcome packet, which is beautiful, right here. And while we're at it, let's take a little look at this welcome packet. Just so for those of you who haven't traveled with us before, if you want to have an idea of what is the pre-trip experience like. So travelers will receive a welcome packet that gives them information about flights, process of immigration and customs in the country that they're visiting, and any potential COVID requirements or things like that that they might need to know. We also talk about travel insurance, as well as give you a link to a travel insurance company that we recommend. Full transparency, we are a partner with them, so we do get a small commission. But definitely it's a great company that we stand by. And if you are looking for a travel insurance policy, this is a great place to start if you aren't already working with a travel insurance company that you know, like, and trust. Then we have some just basic travel tips, reminders of things to do, schedule an appointment with your doctor or to talk to the travel nurse if you have concerns, call your bank and let them know that you're going to be traveling, all these types of things that are pretty, standard information, but it's nice to have it all in one place when you're trying to get ready for a trip, and you can just review this information. And sometimes it helps trigger something that maybe you had forgotten. We talk about currency so that you're prepared on what are the current exchange rates, what's the best option for either getting money out of an ATM or exchanging money. This can vary by destination, so this is personalized for each destination that we work in. We then talk a little bit about how to best pack for Peru, factoring in things like weather, the types of experiences that you're likely to be participating in when you're in Peru. We give you a weather report that shows you the monthly rainfall and monthly temperatures in the primary destinations that we work in Peru. So if you are going on a trip in January with us, you can use this information. And if you're going on a trip with us in October, this information is also useful to you. So it's evergreen. And then let's see, then we have a packing list that has actually, little check boxes if you want to actually print it out and check it off as you go. We let you know that there's laundry service available during your trip. Of course, we throw in an inspirational quote and a photo. Some additional health and safety tips to keep in mind. A lot of common questions that come up about if drinking water is safe. Is there a safe in my hotel room? Should I be concerned about certain types of food, etc. We also talk a little bit about cultural etiquette, and we have a tipping chart as well. So if you're wondering how much should you tip, what's the customary there, we provide you with this information. And at the end, we also give a list of books and films that we recommend checking out in preparation for your trip to Peru. So some of these could be more history style. Some of them are novels. Some of it's fiction. Some of it is more documentary style. Again, this can depend on the destination. And this is something that over the years we will continue to be updating and adding to. We love to focus and highlight as much as we can, obviously, Peruvian filmmakers, artists, actresses, actors, and writers, but there are also some cool books in here that have been produced by other people who have gone to Peru as well. So there's a bit of a mixture there to give you a wide look at Peru. And then here you have on this final page about COVID. In almost all of the destinations that we're operating in now, there's pretty much no more COVID restrictions, but we just put that information in there for you. And we also provide updates on that as we get closer to the trip date. So that's what the welcome packet looks like. Now let's get back to our itinerary. So here you can see we have the information regarding airport pickup so that you know how to fill out forms, what address to put on your customs form, where to go at the airport, and who to be looking for, as well as backup phone number, a phone number for Amy, as well as for myself in this case. Description about your hotel. So this is the hotel that we're going to be staying at, or that the group is staying at in Lima. We tend to always pick, whenever we can, smaller boutique hotel properties that have some sustainability components to their business model, and places that just don't feel like chain hotels where you're going to be around tons and tons of other people in a more corporate environment. On occasion, we might use a hotel like that, like an airport hotel at the very end of a really long trip if somebody has a flight out the next morning. So there's value, and those places definitely have their purpose. But in general, we are usually looking for smaller, locally owned and run hotels and bed and breakfast for our travelers to stay at. So here you can get more information about the hotel. And then for pretty much any big activity or kind of item on the itinerary, there is going to be a headliner, a small description, usually some photos, and in some cases there could be a link to get like to the Instagram of a place or to see their phone number, sometimes an address. So we're trying to put as much information as we can. You really don't necessarily need to have this information when you're on a trip with us, because once you show up in country, if you want, you don't really have to think about much, and you can be with a tour leader and the group as much as you want. Of course, there are opportunities for independent exploration, and some people take more time for themselves, in which case we just want them to have information and resources to make their trip just run smoother. And in case anyone were to ever get lost or they wanted to do their own thing and meet up with the group later, that they have that information. Of course, our tour leaders are always there to support you if you need help. Also, every day at the top, we let you know which meals are included. Here you can see they're going to do a Lima walking food tour, so to get to know the city, but through the lens and the framework of food, which, if you aren't aware, Peru is a gastronomical capital of the world, particularly Lima. It consistently ranks as one of the best countries in Latin America for the culinary arts, and so there will be an emphasis on food during this trip. So this first full day, there's a walking tour with a food tour component and then a cooking class. And so that's a really fun day. Then there is some downtime. And in the afternoon, there's the option to do an optional bike tour or a sunset beach tour. On day 3, the group is going to be heading to Ica, which is super cool. This was not on our original itinerary for Peru, but when I passed this project over to Amy, she really wanted to change some things up. And she even went to Peru to do some scouting and exploration and find cool places and cool people for us to work with. And she came back and really wanted to put this destination on the itinerary. And luckily, the people who had signed up for the trip already have traveled with us a lot and trust us in making decisions and changes. And so we took a few liberties with the itinerary and have made some changes. And I just think it's so cool because there's 2 places that Amy has kind of added into this itinerary that we didn't initially have on our radar. And I feel like she's highlighting some of the coolest and most unique parts of Peru. So I'm really excited. So this one here in the Ica and Paracas area is amazing. On the way, they're going to stop at one of the oldest producers of pisco. So pisco is a alcoholic beverage. It also is made from grapes, although it's not wine necessarily. But they're going to get to visit the vineyards as well as learn about the production and, of course, taste pisco. And then that afternoon, they have sunset at these sand dunes and look at this incredible oasis. It's truly mind-blowing. It's really cool. It feels like, okay, are they going to be in like the desert of Egypt? But this is Latin America. This is South America, you guys. It's so cool. And there's the option for people, if they want to sandboard or to go on a dune buggy ride, they can. Or if you just want to chill out and enjoy this very unique space, this beauty and this peace, this is going to be a really cool day at Huacachina. And I'm so glad that Amy went ahead and added that in. For the 2 nights that the group is staying in Paracas, we have rented out a private vacation rental. And so it has a nice pool. It's right by the beach. And it just gives the opportunity for the group to kind of chill out, do some team bonding, maybe cook a meal together, and just have a little bit more of that relaxed kind of we feel at home vibe. So we like to incorporate this type of accommodation on certain trips when we feel like it works well with the overall itinerary and the group. And so I'm really excited about this situation for our group coming up in May. And we do still have space in that house for more signups. So like I said, if you want to join, it's not too late. Now, on day 4, they're going to go to the Ballesta Islands. Now, this is also a destination that I was super ignorant to, and that Amy was like, we have to add this. And honestly, the more and more I read about it, and the more that I talked to other people who had been and providers in Peru, I realized that this is honestly a hidden gem. And if there are people out there who really want to go to the Galapagos Islands, but it feels too far or it feels too expensive, because the Galapagos is amazing and it's definitely larger than these islands in this area. So a full comparison, I don't know if you could make, but there are a lot of things that the Ballesta Islands have that do compare or are similar to what you can see in the Galapagos. So if you are really looking for this type of an environment and to see wildlife and maybe want to go somewhere that's less known and more affordable, I would highly recommend considering Paracas and the Ballesta Islands, okay? So here you're going to be able to see a variety of birds, mammals, reptiles, lots of cool stuff, flora and fauna, and just look at this. This really does remind me of parts of the Galapagos with these cool, and in fact, these rock formations look almost limestone and they look unique. Whereas the Galapagos are more volcanic, but this is very similar to something that you might see in the Galapagos. Sea lions, you can see penguins potentially here. So this is a really cool and underrated site that, again, I'm so glad Amy has added into our time in Peru. So after 2 nights in Lima and 2 nights in Paracas, the group is going to be heading back to the Lima airport to catch a quick flight to Cusco. And so at this point, we're leaving the seaside and we are heading into the Andes, and we are getting closer and closer to that big moment that so many people are excited about, Machu Picchu. And this is where we're going to start learning a lot more about the Inca civilizations and the pre-Hispanic and pre-Columbian history of Peru, as well as the indigenous communities that are alive and well today. So there's a lot of bringing together both the past and the present in this trip, and I'm just super excited. So once the group lands in Cusco, they're going to check into their hotel, which again is like a cute, kind of more of a boutique bed and breakfast, Antigua Casona San Blas. You can see here you have some nice, your traditional architecture with your big windows over an interior courtyard, some space for, oh, look at this nice dining area, this cute patio. So I'm really excited for this hotel. I can't wait to hear how everybody enjoyed it. Now, when the group gets here, they're only going to be spending 1 night in Cusco, which initially I was like, oof, I'd love to give them a little bit more time. However, because of altitude, it's good to not necessarily just go straight to super high altitude and stay there. It's good to get acclimated. So the group is going to land in Cusco at around 11,000 feet and have an easy, sorry, my dog's hair is like, he's major shedding right now. The group is going to arrive in Cusco, get checked in, and do a relaxing walking tour that evening and have a nice dinner at Organica, which looks amazing. Look at this. And then just have a super chill evening. And the next day, they're going to head out to the Sacred Valley, and they're going to actually go down in elevation. So by the time you get to Machu Picchu, it's around 9,000 feet, whereas Cusco is a little over 11,000. And that 2,000 feet can make a difference. So it's really important that people take it easy the first few days when they get to Cusco and this whole general part of Peru, because for the next 6 or 7 days at least, you're going to be anywhere between 9 and 13,000 feet in elevation at any given time, and even with the opportunity to get higher up for short periods of time. So you want to take it easy, you want to rest, you want to stay hydrated. You could consider taking preventative medication to help reduce the risk of getting altitude sickness. But the fact that they're going to go up to Cusco and then get the opportunity to go down again for a couple days, actually good, because if anybody was really feeling it in Cusco, one of the best things to help with altitude sickness is to go down in elevation. And so they're going to go down a few thousand feet and spend 2 nights in the Sacred Valley, staying in Ollantaytambo. And I'm really excited because when I went to Machu Picchu, we just kind of breezed through this area. We didn't really give it its due justice. And I'm so excited about the new things that we have figured out and explored with our local guide Wilmer, who Amy met on a scouting trip and who has just really been instrumental in bringing this part of our trip to life in a deeper way, and that feels way more aligned with the kind of experiences that we want to offer. So there's going to be a lot of cultural immersion during these next few days, learning about the communities, learning about the history, as well as what is everyday life in some of these different communities. We're going to get out in the fields, we're going to be cooking, we're going to be eating traditional meals. We're going to be visiting different archaeological sites. And so it's really a nice mix, like I said, of past and present, and that human interaction component, as well as seeing these amazing, amazing ruins and all of this awesome nature. So I cannot wait for the group to experience everything that Amy and Wilmer have planned. They're going to be staying 2 nights at Casa de la Chola, which is super cute. Hidden back in nature, very laid back vibes in the Urubamba, excuse me. And it's just super cute, super cozy. We're always looking for places that make you feel at home, that are nice and clean and cute and have style and have warmth. Not necessarily always 5 stars, although sometimes we do have some splurge nights, but really looking for places that have, as cliche as this sounds, a little bit of heart to them, right? So then, of course, comes the big day, going to Machu Picchu. So there's a train ride from Ollantaytambo to Aguascalientes, and then a bus ride up to the actual entrance. They are limiting the amount of people that can visit Peru. And so there's scheduled time slots, which ultimately is nicer because there's less people around when you're there and you can experience it more. And it's for the conservation and the preservation of this site. So you will have a part of your trip that is guided with Wilmer, and then you will also have some free time to enjoy and just take in this space on your own before the group heads back to Ollantaytambo. And just look how beautiful this is. And you will truly see like llamas and possibly alpacas just hanging out at Machu Picchu. It's so cool. And then the next morning, they are going to be leaving Ollantaytambo and heading back to Cusco. But on the way, there's 2 really cool stops that Iamy added in. The Maras salt mines. Like, look at this. This is so cool. Like, Peru has so many really unique places that, I mean, just, I don't know, just this literally is so cool. I went to salt mines when I was a little girl on a family trip to Germany. They were like underground, and I had this little salt rock in my dresser in my childhood bedroom forever. And like, I think until I was like probably like 10, like I would find it every now and then and I would like lick it because it was so salty, and like they gave us these salt rocks when we were little kids at the salt mines. And I remember it forever, and I bet I could go to my mom's house right now and find that dresser and find that freaking salt rock. Because travel can create core memories. So if it's important for children, it's important for adults too. We should all be traveling when and if we have the ability to do so, right? Then they're going to go to Moray, another archaeological site that honestly looks otherworldly, super cool, very different than a lot of the things that you see further north here in Central America. Just so cool. Like, wow. So I'm really excited for the group to have these things. These are things that we did not do previously on our Peru trips, and I'm so glad that Iamy has added these in. Then they get back to Cusco, check back into that same hotel for a night of rest, and the next day is completely free day. The option to go to Rainbow Mountain or to Laguna Umantay, the option to do like a chocolate shop visit in the afternoon, or you can just tell your guide, I really just want to rest, or I want to do my own thing. Or I want to do something else that's not one of these 3 things. I want to do this. Can you help me? And they'll be able to help you. So we definitely do recommend taking some downtime, though. So free days are built in for a reason. Of course, if you are go, and you want to go to the Rainbow Mountains on your free day, definitely do it. Then after a day of rest in Cusco, we are going to head to Puno. So this is going to be on a bus ride. This is one of the few times when we're not in our own private car for this type of transfer, because actually the bus ride is more comfortable. So these buses have really nice reclinable seats, AC, onboard bathroom, Wi-Fi, and really nice big panoramic windows so that you can see the landscapes. And it's honestly a better way to travel that long distance from Cusco to Puno. Now, once we get to Puno, or once the group gets to Puno, they're going to be staying on the floating Uros Islands. Again, when I went here, we stayed at a hotel overlooking the lake, which was really nice. But this is so cool because you are going to be supporting directly a small family-run business, and you're going to get to have more interaction with the people who live on these islands. And something that's really cool about these communities and this part of Lake Titicaca, which, by the way, is the highest navigable lake in the world, and it's shared by both Peru and Bolivia. Super cool. Over 13,000 feet of elevation. And some of the communities here have some really awesome, they have female presidents on these islands. And then in one of the other actual like physical, not man-made floating islands, but actual islands that we're going to visit on the lake, there's also a town where the men are the ones who knit. And in order to prove that you're ready for marriage, the gentleman or the young man has to knit a beanie so tightly woven and so well done that if they put a glass of water in it, that it would hold the water. And you often hear these types of jokes like, oh, like, ella ya se puede casar porque como que logró hacer arroz bien. O sea, we hear these stereotypical jokes that are jokes, but that really do also nod to a lot of the machismo that we experience in Latin America and the world, like, oh, like now that she can make rice well, like she's ready to get married. And it's just really interesting to see like the reverse of that. You just don't see that often. And so it's really cool that there's a lot of like really strong female power in this part of Peru. And it was something that took me by surprise and was really, really cool to see when I went there for the first time. So the next day, after you have a beautiful night on the floating islands, the group is going to go and head to visit Taquile Island, where I had the best trout of my life, and to go to Amantani. And overnight on Amantani Island, they're going to do a homestay, and there's an opportunity to hike up this peak and have the most amazing view of Lake Titicaca. You can see over to Bolivia, and they have this tiny little place that sells donuts and hot chocolate, and you would just like never think you would find that there. And then at night the host families like make dinner and they serve you lots of alcohol if you want, and they make us dance, and it's really, really fun. And then I remember our night we hung out and we just like looked up at the stars, like after dancing and eating and drinking and hanging out all night with these amazing Peruvians that opened their home up to us. We just were like gazing at the stars, and it was really a beautiful experience. And I hope that everybody on this trip can appreciate it, because it's definitely, for me, was my absolute number one highlight and memory from Peru. If I were to ever, if somebody said, hey, you could go back to one place in Peru, like where would it be? It would, without a doubt, hands down, be Lake Titicaca. And so then after that, they're going to head to Arequipa, check into their hotel, have walking tour and lunch in Arequipa, free time. And then the last day they do a coffee tasting class and a farewell lunch at this really cool farm. So I'm super happy. I'm so proud of Amy and all the work that she's done. And I'm just super happy about the quality of the itineraries that we put together, the information that is on there, all of the things that clients need in order to prepare for their trip, their flight information out. So we're really excited about Travefy. It's a great complement to all of the work that we've been doing to make our trips be better during the trip. We're really also trying to improve the traveler experience before, during, and after the trip. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to go to Peru, you know who to call. Take care. Ciao.